Wait, now we're live. Hi,
Everybody.
Melissa, psychic in the house. Hey. Everybody loves you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be back on your show. Thank you for inviting me again. I appreciate it so much.
I love
Valerie,
you.
thank you. We had so much fun last time. Let's see what we're going to come up with this time.
Yeah, this is going to be just as good. So, there's so much to read on. It's like a smorgasbord of.
Oh my gosh.
But one thing that I saw in the news that I had a question about uh, is CNN going the way of Fox News? I know Anderson Cooper he was let go, but I did read his viewership was down. It was low, so I can't really blame CNN for that one. But they put Lemon on a morning show. Like, what is CNN really doing? Are they going to go the way of Fox Entertainment? That was my
Well, that
question.
has already happened. I grabbed my phone just because or maybe it's easier for you to Google, but so they were bought by a Trump person.
Oh,
They were purchased by a big time wealthy Trump supporter who has talked about uh, it becoming like the new Fox. So I've heard different discussions, like the demographics that they could pull. It's about making money, and that they could pull away Fox viewers. And Fox now is contentious because Murdoch is pulling it away from Trump allegedly, and they wanted a bigger piece of the viewing public, and they thought that's where it lay. And so, yes, they want to take it to Fox territory. Uh, if I can look up his name real quick, I guess I could just Google CNN boss. But yeah, it is. And as a result, on Twitter, there's a big movement to, just block Twitter, block CNN on Twitter or on YouTube. They say, or some people say that hurts CNN. If you just block them, don't get any updates from them. Because some of their updates are just straight news, but they're pulling people in, they're roping people in. And it's not just a money agenda, it is an ideological agenda. I wouldn't be surprised if the Russians or the Saudis had money in it. But they are going to get worse and worse. And they are letting go of their good news people to bring in, the the kind of news personalities that enrage, the kind of the Tucker Carlsons of the world. So we might be fortunate MSNBC might be fortunate in now deciding to kind of veer more to the progressive left Democrat side, which would be really nice because I think they were going also over a little to the right too, especially with Biden, because they're so down on Biden all the time, and they love to talk about Trump and interview Trump people. But I think this might be a turning point for them. I'm hoping it's going to be. I can ask my guys. It just seems like it makes sense. But the answer again is yes. And the guys say yes too. But it's going to backfire. CNN is going to have a huge loss of viewership and revenue. And here it is. His name is Chris Licht, Licht. He's the chairman and CEO. And yeah, here it says he told anxious staffers Friday that more changes are coming to CNN as he addressed the news of Brian, is it Stelter's exit following the cancellation of his Sunday show. So yeah.
Wow. My cards back that up. The happy merchant, then they're going to start being disillusioned. Their deals, they're trying to, or they've made, and I think they're going to have to decide whether what they did is really going to work. And
Excellent. Awesome.
it's
So,
not really going to work for them.
they're on the wrong side of history. All these guys are on the wrong side of history. And also, I think this was probably a long time in the making. And I don't remember us talking about it last time, but I apologize if we did. But I guess it doesn't need to be said enough. Just to think on the fact that probably during the Trump administration and then through like the first years of Biden, that the GOP and the right wing, cabal, whatever, and probably Putin too, because I really see Putin as a big puppet master of all of them, and the Saudis, saw that they couldn't win the war. They couldn't, defeat our democracy via the people because, the people want democracy, but if they can usurp the narrative, just like Russia does in their country, then that would give them like an edge. They could control the result of like the polling, which it's totally. I listen to these polls; they're ridiculous. I do not believe them at all.
No.
They're giving. I believe that we're just being inundated by false information. But this is the way they realize that we don't have the demographics, we don't have a majority. So now what do we have? We have the media. So if we, and that's why Elon Musk he was a straw man to attempting to purchase Twitter, because that was why. And that's why the GOP went to battle for him and coerced Twitter really into allowing that deal, because Elon Musk is just another right-wing troll, and so it's their plan, but it is not going to work. No. Mm-mm. And I believe that and I've asked my guys about this, and I still believe, pray I'm right, but other psychics say we're gonna have a blue tsunami, even the House, that laws will then start being passed. The media will really be looked at. What they were trying to they appointed like a head of misinformation investigation, but the Republicans made Biden's administration back down from that. They put a lot of pressure to stop that, but that's coming back. Like they're going to really look at what's happening behind the scenes. They're going to start bringing in new laws that are like the fair. Is it fair? What is that law for, like, fair and balanced, or whatever that information, like to make sure that the news is allowing both sides, more neutral. Fairness doctrine, I'm sorry. And though there's not both sides, right? There's either fascism or like the rest of the Republicans and Democrats. Like the GOP does not have room for like democracy. They've chosen fascism. That's why Trump now, I guess he has he's wearing a Q pin, like he's released, and the majority of his not Twitter or truthers, Truth Social, I don't know what you call them, truths, are Q posts. So he's got a full Q. But that is going to change, and they're looking at it. Harris and Biden and Warren, just like it. But right now we're kind of stuck. But if we get a huge progressive change, believe me, we will get our media back. And I believe that Biden will fund desires to fund independent media. And I don't know if that's in the Inflation Reduction package, but it's coming. That's coming too, to kind of open that up again, because we need journalism. Without good journalism, democracy does wither. So that's my answer to that.
Yeah, thank you. That makes sense, because the media is a powerful thing, and if we had other countries taking over our media, such as they have, it sways so many things in a certain direction, and that's just not democracy. So, wow. Cool.
This isn't just a happenstance thing. Oh, I'm a rich Trumpian. I'm going to buy CNN, and I'm just going to. No, this was all part of a plan put in place to control, keep control, or to get control back of power.
Exactly. And along that same kind of line about things that shouldn't happen that aren't really democratic, Judge Aileen Cannon's decision, in her decision on the recent DOJ, what do you call that when they're trying to adjust her decision?
The grand like 100 classified documents, trying to. It was they want a partial stay because they're not too bothered about some of the documents. There's 100 classified documents that they think are extremely sensitive and should not really be handled. They should be, and it's all the majority of it anyway, except for maybe Trump's, I don't know, his health records, whatever, maybe some personal communication. The majority of it belongs to us, to the government, and it needs to go back to where it came from. They also need to find out what happened to the missing documents. So you want to ask me about Aileen?
I'm asking about how can she get away with saying she's really accusing the DOJ of lying in her by saying she believes that the docs may not be classified. That's telling the Department of Justice, you're lying. I don't believe you.
Well, she is totally unqualified to be there. She was voted in, pushed by McConnell after Trump lost. The bar did not consider her qualified, but that Trump overrode that recommendation and put her in. So she's that federal position. It's a life position. It's a very powerful position. So she can say whatever she wants. She's not the final say. There's the 11th Circuit, which people are unsure. I guess we can look at that. There's a majority of are Trump judges, but I think it's 5 Democrats or 5 put in by other presidents, maybe 5 put in by Obama and whomever, and then 6 Republicans, something like that, or 6 Trumpians. But we don't know if they're Trumpians actually, because a lot of the judges, even when the election results were being questioned by Trump's henchmen, Linwood, etc., it was Trump judges that actually held our democracy. So they're not necessarily like Cannon, but they, for whatever reason, they were placed in there. And we don't know. So it's like a big question mark. But the thing I want to say about Judge Aileen Cannon, my belief is that, and the thing that we're overlooking, is that I believe, and I can ask my guides again, I'm sure I've had this conversation with them, but yes, she is one, like Sidney Powell and Lynn Wood. She is a believer of the big lie. Mm-hmm. She believes Trump is still president. That's why in her earlier judgment or ruling, she said that he had executive privilege or things belong to him, because she is of the mindset that he is still in power. She's one of them. She's like a Q person, like a Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood, Mike Lindell. And that's why she was put into that position. And what they did judge shopping. She wasn't just randomly chosen for this. The Trump and his lawyers had set her up for this. So she was set up. And after the 11th Circuit is Clarence Thomas. So this was very much cherry picked. And if we wonder why she says those things, this is my belief. I'm just saying it makes perfect sense to me that she is of that ilk. So she would say that because she's like Ginny Thomas or any of them.
Right.
And
she drank the Kool-Aid.
Nobody's saying that about her, like as if she's some, because she's a federal judge. But I know, but nobody's come out with that. But I truly believe this. I get a little.
I've heard say that, and I think you're right, because when I tune into her energy, I just do not feel conflicting feelings inside of her. I feel like she's all for it. But
Yeah, she's not like a normal judge who wants to have, even if they're fundamentally conservative, or even on the Federalist Society, that they would still want to follow the law. She's not interested in that. She's just going to, do what Trump wants her to do, because she's there to help bring in, her master and bring in this, a new, she doesn't believe that Trump has lost, but she wants to reinstate him. She's one of them. And I did some research on her a little bit. There's not much about her, but I read that in this article about her that she had never written any opinions, any judicial opinions. She'd never made partner in her law firm, and she used to write for like a blog, and she wrote about tomatoes and the tomatoes, the health benefits of them. Oh my God!
Her she's really not good at that and doesn't understand the law. The way she constructs
that was her thing. So you have to look and she's the perfect judge for Trump, though. And she's.
Do you see her, Melissa? Do you see her ever being removed?
Oh, that's a good question. I will ask that. It played through my mind. Yes, I do. And I don't know how they remove a judge that's a federal judge that seems like, but obviously there's certain things you can't do. Like, I don't think you could kill a person outright and still be a federal judge. There's got to be something.
If impeachment is the way, I think it.
She's caught up in some stuff. As much as I think they, like, what's the word? They cleaned up her history, but if you really dug, you would find out a lot more about her. It's not on the surface. They kind of kept it on the lowdown. But I hope she's removed. But what I think, whether she is or not, I do see her being removed or resigning or something like that.
Would be the way. She may end up resigning, because I did the cards and I got Judgment, the Hermit. I asked, will she be removed, or will, the High Priestess, Wheel of Fortune. And I got, she's, she's got to defend her territory. So, at the end of the day, I think, like you're saying, I think she may step down from too much heat, and that she may resign. I don't know. After all the Trump stuff comes out and things happen to Trump, she might feel like there's no point. I don't know.
Do you think she might get disbarred? Yeah.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah. Everybody who does anything for Trump, who's an attorney or judge,
she's a judge, and you are responsible for anything that you write or create or say has to be in alignment with the law. And if you are doing something that is contrary to that, that's something they can disbar you for. Just like when Rudy Giuliani did all that stuff, and Sidney Powell. It's all those lies. All those lies. The frivolous lawsuits that weren't based in law is a basis for Aileen Cannon to be.
Oh, yeah, because she's caught up in that whole conspiracy, like the Russian funded attempt, the coup attempt, really. She's all part of it, just like one of the, and they set that up. They put that in place really carefully, and then because they thought that was an out for Trump. But once it gets to the 11th Circuit, because they've appealed it, the DOJ, I don't think it's going to be that easy in the 11th Circuit. I think those judges are probably going to what they might do is they might throw out Cannon's judgment, and then the Trump lawyers will appeal it to the Supreme Court. But I don't even know if Clarence Thomas would want to touch it, because why get involved in that? I mean, that's not a really I don't think that's a really appropriate area for the Supreme Court. Like, what are you trying to do there? I don't think that they can create new law there, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I don't see that. I think it's a delay tactic.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, there's so much other criming going on. What the DOJ is really worried about, and what we should really be worried about, is we need those documents protected. We need them to. We need to know what happened to the ones that are missing. We need the ones that we have to be in a safe place and not under Trump's auspice, because obviously they're not his, and he wouldn't keep them safe anyway. I mean, he had traffic going in and out of Mar-a-Lago even when he wasn't there. That Anna de Rothschild spy. I know what her real name is. I can't remember, but her. So he's it's so bad. It's so bad that it's going to make us sick, sick in our hearts and our minds when we find out. It's just like oh my God, did that happen? And he did that, and this person was killed because of this, and this country's secrets. We now we have to make amends. This is terrible, and it was done with such disrespect and contempt for our democracy and our country. It's one of the worst things you can do. So that's that. But it's what's at Bedminster, which I do believe that's another question, right? Are they going to go into these?
We will. It's next.
We're going to absolutely Bedminster, any Trump territory. And I so much want them to unearth Ivana's grave. I mean, it's not like she's decomposing there. If she's there, which I think I said before, didn't I? That she's not. I didn't think she was there. I thought Ivanka had her ashes, and I think the family, like the children and her family, would like to see her interred in like a mausoleum or something like that, or like something respectful. It's disgusting that he did that. I don't know if I can't see how. Well, that's a stupid question observation, really, because any of his followers already are okay with that. Like, that's who they are. They are at that level, as far as I can see. But I do think they need to take a look. They need to take a look and see what's in that gold coffin. What's in there? I wouldn't be satisfied if, and I think I said that before. If I was FBI, I was like, okay, let's go in.
So on Trump's trip to Washington, D.C., that trip where he was half dressed in golf gear, and
oh God, that happened.
I know, there's so much. It's like a feast.
It is a feast, a movable feast.
So he's out like with his group out on the golf course talking to them, and 3 of them are part of the 30 plus subpoenas that were
40.
So 40 something subpoenas. So was he getting his strategy set with this group?
I'm thinking about that very photograph. When I saw it, I thought there's a heist being planned here. Like, this is mafia. This is Godfather music should be playing in the background. That's what it looked like to me. The mob meeting away from the where they thought they couldn't be bugged. But I can't imagine that. I wouldn't be surprised, I should say, if there was one person there wearing a wire. Don't you think? I mean, come on, even like that.
I would be surprised if somebody wasn't wearing a wire. I mean, he avoided thinking that he would not be overheard if he had everybody out and nobody was to have their cell phones out. But someone recorded it.
Oh, so yeah, they've got that covered, and it's going to make its way to the January 6th committee somehow. It's going to get there. It's just like it has to. It just has to be. And my guides say yes, more than one. We're recording that conversation because they have to for their attorneys. They all have to be prepared for what's coming, and we will find out. I'm going to ask them if I could tell maybe what they were discussing. You know, grain of salt, but ask the guys. The guys say that they were discussing exactly what you said. What are we going to do? Like, what are our plans here? Um, getting their story straight, covering their butts, and that was what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, regarding the documents, mainly that time. Yeah, and the January 6th committee too. Like the everything. Like they and the way that they're reminding me that the way that Trump does things is that he doesn't necessarily say anything directly. He says like it's all implied. He thinks he can get away with it that way. Like, you know, they talk about stuff and it's a little bit obtuse, but everybody knows what they're talking about. But I'm telling you, people are very scared there.
Yeah, totally.
They're terrified. They feel like they're between a rock and a hard place because Trump does not leave them any wiggle room. He demands total loyalty, but that means loyalty to the point where they take the fall and they end up possibly in Rikers. So,
exactly.
And they want to save themselves, and they want to save their families, and they want to save their reputations, and they don't want to go to Rikers. They don't want to lose their law license. They're very frightened right now. Of course, you know, Trump feels, and maybe they might feel too, that the only way to be safe is to have another coup, you know, to take power back.
Right.
But they're in quicksand. It's like it'd be a golf course metaphor. But when you hit your ball and it just ends up in like the swamp and it just sinks, you can't get it. And that's kind of how they feel. They're really just in quicksand.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that they do is just making it worse for them.
Exactly. Oh, Teresa Ford is asking, do you think that Trump's Secret Service are spying on him while they protect him?
Oh, that's a good question, Teresa. Oops. Yes, they are.
My gosh. Of course they must be, right?
They are. Yeah, they are. And it's important for them to keep people that Trump trusts, to keep an eye on him.
Okay. And she Teresa says good. Yeah, really.
Yeah. When he was president, people wonder, like, why didn't the people serving him, like under him, like John Kelly and whomever wrote a book, you know, Bolton, why didn't it come out before Trump was the end of Trump's term or when he ran again? Shouldn't they have warned us? But I'm telling you that Trump runs things like a mafia. He is mafia, really, or he patterns his organization on the mafia.
He does.
And they make threats to these people. They threaten their family, bomb scares. Like people wanted to wait. There was even Mueller they tried to coerce Mueller, and they blocked him at every turn. So people only come out with stuff when they feel safe. That's why.
Absolutely true. And I thought about that a lot. And I thought, you know, these books come out after all of this, not because these people are trying to make the buck after, but I mean, they are, but they had to worry about their safety.
Yeah, they do. And they still make terrible threats. I just heard somebody recently having to deal with it was Rusty Bowers. His family, like while his daughter was dying of cancer, they were getting all kinds of death threats, and people protesting outside of their house, and it was just horrible. Being really loud and being very offensive. Seen with him.
A good example is Adam Kinzinger. He's a Republican, and he's going to step down as a congressman, or is he a senator? I never remember. I don't know what I'm talking about, but he's stepping down because of death threats against his family. I mean, because he's part of the Jan 6 committee, but he's a Republican.
Yeah, and they've got once, my prayers are intense and often that, daily, that we do have a blue tsunami, which I do believe we'll have, my prayer too. Then the DOJ will, they're looking, they've already, like with Rusty Bowers, they already found like and arrested a woman who was making threats over the phone. I don't know if they were bomb threats or whatever they were, and she's already gotten. But I think that's even going to be more arresting the people who are making these threats. Like, who are these people? How many people are out there? Are there organizations? Are these just random crazy people, or are they, does Trump control them, or like who gives the orders? Is this an Eric Prince thing? We've got to find out, because these people are extremely dangerous. They have to be stopped. There has to be consequences. That is not freedom of speech. That's coercement. That is something that needs to be
Totally true. Thank you, Marvita Dragonfly. That's really true. We got to surround Adam with angels. Along those same lines, my next question is about DeSantis. The migrant flights, the 2 flights he sent to, I believe there were 2, to Martha's Vineyard, 50 migrants, all from Ecuador, I think, giving them appointments in other states. I mean, once they landed in Martha's Vineyard, no one knew they were coming. They never called an official there. They never prepared anyone. They lied to the migrants, telling them that there would be housing and employment there for them when they land. And in addition, giving them false addresses for their residency in the United States, in different states, not even in Massachusetts, but it's like we talked backstage, to homeless shelter addresses and that kind of thing, to random addresses that wouldn't fly with the ICE or the authorities when they're trying to become citizens, and giving them an appointment in other states for Monday morning, so that when they don't show up, they're going to be deported and sent back home. So all this was addressed and talked about by the Martha's Vineyard advocates for these migrants. What's going to happen to DeSantis? I mean, no one finds this manipulation of these people in any way, shape, or form right.
Well, I think there's
it's illegal. What he did is illegal. It's illegal. Right?
Yes, I think they're Venezuelan, but I was trying to Google on my phone to make sure.
You were correct. Venezuelan.
And they were not immigrants coming over illegally. They were actually applying for asylum.
Yes, asylum.
And somebody, I've heard this several times, the cruelty is the point. That is what they do. They're not, really, like, they are Nazis. When I'm saying like Nazis, I think they are Nazis. That's the kind of mindset they follow. And both Abbott and DeSantis are just, they want to throw down. One wants to be worse than the other. and they're playing to their base, and they're playing to Trump, which is ridiculous because it's not a lot. It's like 25% or less of the country.
Totally.
So what's happened to DeSantis? I'll ask. I have done readings on him on my channel, Melissa Free Range Psychic, and I didn't see good things out of him. I saw that he was going to. This was before that happened. End up in a world of trouble and not be president. Let me see what the consequences are for that.
Mm-hmm.
There are consequences because there's. Oh yeah, this is true. I think I saw. I know I saw a clip on this. People speaking out, like the people who were speaking for the immigrants or the asylum seekers, I should say, and attorneys. There's a lot of attorneys that are volunteering their time from all over the country. A lot of attorneys.
I mean, yeah. I mean, whose heart wouldn't go out? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. What were you going to say?
I mean, whose heart wouldn't go out to those people, those innocent people who are bewildered to arrive on an island and nothing that they were told is there for them. But all these people, these beautiful people, scrambled to help them in any way.
Yeah, everything. This is my prediction regarding anything that DeSantis, Abbott, Trump, or their people do. It's all going to blow up in their faces, just every single thing. And they're just going to, like that quicksand, they're going to dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and they're going to sink deeper the more that they try to get out. It's just going to be the way it's going to be. And so they'll do something like this, and they think it's just, oh, it's so wonderful and brilliant. And then it just, another reason why people turn away and don't vote for them. I don't believe that DeSantis is going to win his election. I don't believe Abbott's going to win his either. And it's probably going to be a fight, but I mean, they're kind of losing points the more that they do this. And and I'll check with my guide's picture in a sec just to confirm, but it cost $12 million. $12 million for 2 planes to go from, I think they actually went from Texas to Martha's Vineyards. How does $12 million of taxpayer money get spent? That is like, they didn't go to the moon. It wasn't like a NASA rocket taking off. What the heck? Like, how's that even explainable? So I do believe the DOJ is on it and Biden's on it. Biden's so upset.
I can't believe that much money was spent.
Yeah, $12 million. And the person they hired the planes from got like $685,000.
Oh, some pocket change for them.
Money they took from the Inflation Reduction Act, or one of the infrastructure. Yeah, I think they took it. They said, yeah, you want to give us money, Biden? We're going to spend it on this. I think that's what they did. And they're going to be in trouble. They are in trouble because it's a felony, and many felonies, because it's kidnapping, it's human trafficking across state lines, children, women, men. They are, and each of them, every single one of those, the guides are showing me, every single one of those asylum seekers will get their own attorney. Every single one, and they're all they'll be filing suit after suit after suit, and this is not good for them. Anybody who took part in this, because it is a jailable offense, and on many levels too, a prisonable offense. The guides are correcting me. Just watch. What does Rachel Maddow say? Watch this space, because what they did so much overreach here. How stupid they are, very stupid they are to do that. They couldn't prove their point in some other way, and I heard this today too. It's like, oh, they're trying to show or have the other states take the burden, but what nobody's saying is that all 50 states pay for the border protection. Like we all contribute. It's not that like Florida and Texas are the only states that are, funding that. They're not. That's not true at all. It's not true at all. They're just creating this situation, this distraction that they're riding their horse on. That's how they think they're going to appeal to their base, and they're going to win and make these. Do you remember when they all went to, like, the House members, almost as soon as Biden got in, went to the border and said, where is Biden? Why, or where's Harris? Why aren't they here? That was really, really important. And then they said that whilst telling people that the border was open on that side, complaining that there were people, that the border was open and that people were swamping our border. Millions of people were coming over. And beyond that, we need them. We need them because we've lost so many people through COVID, and we need the workers here. We really do. America needs them. Yeah. So again, what a stupid thing to do. They are so wrong-footed on every level, and they come from such a mean, evil place. And these human beings, I don't get it, but that's who they are, and they're going to double down on that. It's hard for them to pull back from that, right. Especially when we have Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan and Lauren Boebert, being the essential leaders of the party.
It's like cruelty is their banner. Cruelty.
Yeah. Cruelty is the point.
I asked
if
DeSantis would be reelected.
Thank you, Tarot Angel. Thank you.
Putting himself in he's digging the hole. He's right now.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, it's like they can't commit political suicide quick enough. It's like, this isn't working. Let's try something else. Put us out of our misery, please. And everything that they do is so stupid.
Everything just leads to where we want it to go. It just all works out. Moving to another subject, though. I know that Biden met with the families of Brittany Griner and Whelan, I don't know his first name, but the Russian detainees. And again, I kind of wanted to check the energies of, does it look like there can be a negotiation for their release?
Yeah. It's kind of, to me, that Putin doesn't have much. He doesn't have much left to negotiate with. Because he's that war, he's losing the war. That was the other thing that were you going to ask about that, the big rout? And we talked about that, remember? Last time, I think, or I talked about that I said I wasn't going to know. I talked about that on my 2 weeks ago on the video that I did about, I called it Putin versus Ukraine. Right. And that's what the guys were showing me. They showed the rout, and then it happened. So it's cool. And also Slava Ukraine. And he is weaker and weaker. And I don't know if you whomever of you guys out there saw the video, but the guys saw that Putin was having trouble with memory, vascular dementia, as well as he's on a lot of pain medication for his cancer.
Right.
And that he's one of the reasons that's going so poorly is because the leader you have to have a strong leader, a leader who's with it, and on top of things to win a war like that, which I don't really think it was winnable. It would have been just a horrible occupation over a long period of time, like Afghanistan, if he had really had the goods, which he thought he had, but he was misinformed. And part of that was just being told what he wanted to hear, because you know what happens if you fall out a window or off a boat if you don't tell Putin at once, or if things go wrong. At the same time, he's having a hard time remembering who to trust, and so there's a lot of chaos and confusion and so much corruption. And he still wants to puff himself up, Putin, and show that he's a big power. So let's see. You can take that, and I'll ask the guys, and then you can do your cards. Are you okay? Let's see. There is room for negotiation. Putin is like begging Biden for assistance behind the scenes. If this is to with the economic sanctions, and I can give you this, I'll give you oil for cheap or whatever, and that's not working, of course, because Biden is done with all of that. So Biden has a lot more hand than Putin, they're saying. But Putin doesn't want to look weak. So, this is interesting. I wonder, I always say grain of salt because the guides are never wrong, but I can be wrong. So that's why I said that. What I'm hearing is the decision has already been made to let them go.
Oh, good.
But it has to look to the world like Putin was in control of it, and it's something that he's gaining from and condescending to do. So he's already agreed to do it. And
you exactly.
Maybe there's some gain, like maybe they're gonna. I know Biden's going to decrease like a tariff or I don't know something, and then it will be actually officiated, or it would take place in time is always difficult. But right now, I'm going to say before Thanksgiving. Yeah, before Thanksgiving, maybe. Maybe things might change, but that's
always hard. Yeah, time is very hard. But I agree because they're going to go to smoother waters, but there's that devilly, he's going to do it however it works for him. And I got the new journey so I think it all relates to he's got his reasons, his methods, and it's all, timing and releasing them is all about what leverage he can get for sanctions to be lifted. Or
those two people chained are Griner and Beneath the Devil are Griner and Brittany.
There you go.
No. Who are the two?
That makes sense.
Brittany Griner and the other.
After he lets them go, I think he feels like he's lost his bargaining chips, or because at the end of the day.
Yeah, Valerie, who are the two again? I
had the Queen.
No, who are the two people that are?
Two people.
Yeah.
Brittany Griner, the basketball.
I split that up into two names. I'm sorry about that.
And Whelan, Whelan. I don't know his first name, but he's been there for a while.
So carry on.
Okay. Well, that was it. I just think that he's going to let him go, but it's going to be for his own devilish purposes or whatever. But
and the Ten of Swords, and then Putin is not around. Like Putin, going to be moving out of the sphere of power.
That's kind of where it's at, but it stops short of showing him ending. It doesn't go there yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, but one of the things I've seen for quite a while is that the disease that he has is eating him up from the inside. When I first asked about this, and it was several years ago, I think, it was bone cancer that I saw.
Yeah, you can
maybe
have
into bone cancer. Maybe it's abdominal cancer that metastasizes, or is it bone marrow? Is it the marrow? Something like that. Like it's eating him up from the inside, and it's almost like so karmic that this pain that he is caused so many, the suffering and the misery, and is now what he experiences in his own individual way through his disease. And there's not enough pain medication for him in the world to obviate it. And if there is, then he's not there, he can't mentally be there. He's just out because it's so painful. So he's just going to waste away like that in a great deal of pain before he dies.
Mm.
That's what I see anyway.
Oh, well, on that subject of Putin, though, he met with Xi Jinping of China just the other day, and he was asking him for things, money or weapons or something for the war. I mean, that's obvious because he's really hurting for any kind of equipment. And I just wanted to know, did Xi Jinping give Putin any kind of equipment, or, is he giving him money for it, for the war, for the conflict? Or did no, I don't have anything for you.
Oh, this is an interesting question, and it's so historical in terms of Russia and China's relationship. I remember asking about the fate of Russia like a while ago, a year ago or so, and the guy showed me that China was the big fish and Russia was the little fish.
Oh, wow.
That's what it showed me. And although China's not doing so great either right now, they're both with paper tigers in a way. They're the governments are similar. They both have rulers in for life, and they're making terrible decisions, and their population is suffering, and both of them, both China and Russia, not doing so great.
No.
Let me see here. Well, this is all about oil. I asked if it was about wheat too, but no, it's all about oil.
Okay.
And it's about China wanting to take advantage, I should say, being the big guy on campus, wanting to take advantage of cheap oil. And they know that Russia's weak. And Putin is weaker than he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be on top, and now he's at the bottom of the ladder. And he's smelling. It's like how sharks smell blood in the water. So the guides say that what Russia got from Ping was it was just, I'll buy your oil and I'll do this amount. I'll give you this amount, but not so much about weapons.
It wasn't, and I got the same thing with my cards. I think you're right. It was about oil because
Russia needing money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they needed
What
the
do
money.
your cards say? What do the cards say?
This is China coming in. They're all about strength. And this is Russia. They're kind of in a holding pattern. And I got the Queen of Cups, which I think is I know Putin's not very emotional, but I feel like that's Mother
Russia also.
Mother Russia. And then
Yeah.
you get the High Priestess. But
yeah.
With it, I get the Magician and the Sun, and that's, I think, China getting a good deal for itself. And whatever Putin thinks he's getting out of it is not enough for him to. This is all China's good cards, and Putin is left with. He didn't get anything really enough for him to do anything with.
Yeah, they don't even have Russia and that army. It's dwindling. The Russians are the Russian soldiers are running away, and they don't have their heart's not in the game. and we're Ukraine, their hearts are, it's their country. And like Zelensky said, if you take this away from us, we still don't want, I mean, if the deal is we can have this if we allow you to take over, no, we don't, we will do this without you. We'll be without food, without water, but we'll be without you. That's
God,
basically.
the Ukrainians are tough people.
I love Ukraine.
God
Oh my
bless.
God.
I mean, you gotta respect them, and their spirit is just
Did you
so.
see that? Did you see that speech that he gave that was on Twitter? Posted on Twitter. But look it up, or I can send it to you.
I will.
Or it's a whole list of things that Zelensky says we will do without. We don't need this because without we will be here without you, whether even if we have nothing. And it's a whole list of things that he goes over, and it's like
he cuts to the heart of exactly where he should be, to be with the people, stand with the people, and say, look we're going to do this no matter what the bottom line is and what we have to do without. I just get the chills. He is such a leader. I mean, what a fantastic leader.
He's amazing. Zelensky is amazing.
He is.
He's surely a David life. It's biblical.
It's really, I'm just
times right now. Can you imagine what it's going to say in the history books? Oh my God.
He played a teacher just before all this. He was an actor playing a teacher on a television show.
Did you see that? It's called Servant of the People. And I watched that. I don't know if anybody else out there has watched it. It's amazing. I believe it's on Netflix.
Oh, I know.
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's so beautiful. It's about a high school teacher who goes on a rant about corruption in the government. One of his students posts it because he's filming it and posts it on Twitter or TikTok or whatever. And it's so popular that it lifts him up to become president of Ukraine. And then it's about being corruptible or not corruptible, and how corrupt the government is, and who he puts in place. It's so beautiful, and it's really funny too. So if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. Servant of the People.
I'm watching it.
Yeah, and then he really becomes president.
He really becomes president, and could there be a more perfect president for this moment for Ukraine? I don't think so. I think he's just like these.
No, he is meant to be, just like Biden is the most. There's a more perfect president than Biden right now.
Totally.
Yeah.
So one of the last questions I had is on Russia. It got kamikaze drones, so drones that they expect to go in and just almost like bombs, I guess, because kamikaze is you're gonna at the end. So kamikaze drones from Iran, and Russia is going to start using them. How will it affect the Ukrainian troops? And at the same time this came out into the news, Biden was telling them, don't start using these weapons of mass destruction with Ukraine. He gave them a warning. And Russians' response was, or Putin's response about whether they're going to do it or not, it's like, well, you look up our playbook kind of thing. So in other words, yeah, it's in their playbook. They will. They can.
Well, how destructive are they? I'm not familiar with them. Do you know how destructive they are?
I don't really know, but they're acting like it's a weapon of mass destruction. So the kamikaze drone must be loaded with some kind of nuclear device, or could be. They mentioned other kinds of weaponry you can put in it that can cause a limited amount of mass destruction of like you could hit the troops with it and it would affect the large number.
How did Iran get them? Like,
Hmm.
are they normal? Like, are they not normal, but are they like? Do a lot of countries have them? Like, are they?
I don't think so. Well, let me just Google that. It was
Google
Iran
it.
that gave them drones. What are they and who has them? So it says they fire missiles and which are missiles themselves called kamikaze or suicide drones. These are unmanned aircraft that are part of a tranche of weapons that are being sent to by the U.S. to Ukraine. So apparently, the Ukrainians have them too.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
Or maybe
Well,
the Russians got them.
who's the better like the better army? I think that I don't know, but I'm gonna ask the guys because I'm ignorant on this matter. See if I can pick it out from there. I'm feeling like Ukraine will end up with a lot of a lot of them, like end up like possessing them because the Russians will, like abandon their posts, and then there's a lot of like they have with the HIMARS, and they'll just add them to their arsenal. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. Let's face it. Can you see like, oh great, more for us, yay. Let me see what's going to happen here, according to the guys. It's like sort of like a dark comedy, just like, and I'm sure they will be made regarding like this, like the Russians, like falling asleep in the tanks drunk, and the Ukrainians. Like, it's crazy. Let's see. Yes, exactly. It's going to happen like that, Melissa. The Russians are a mess, and they won't even really know how to use them. And we also, Ukraine has javelins, and Biden's on it. Like Biden has been interfacing with them for a long time. He's and I see it clearly, but I know that for fact. I mean, I've heard that like reported. Giving advice, and isn't Biden a Scorpio?
Yeah, Scorpio. Mm-hmm.
So
Scorpio.
yeah, like the high and so he's already figured it out. Like he's going to be like, more than one step ahead of this game. If they're going to do this, and the Ukrainians are going to do that, the Ukrainians are going to do that. So it's just a lot of puffery. It's a lot of like, puffing your chest and saying, yeah, we got this, so we're going to scare you, because like Russia always does that. Tries to appear bigger and more lethal than it is. But it's a bully. So what does it do? And it goes and commits mass murder in young children and women and old men, and bury them in graves. That's what bullies do. That's how they think they're going to win the war. It's by this horrific behavior, which is as they're going into these liberated areas, Ukrainian army, they're finding these graves. Yeah. So that's how the Russians really, that was their kind of ace up their sleeve. That's how we're going to win this war. We're going to terrorize people, and we're going to commit genocide. But that didn't work.
Wow.
And that's war crimes trials to come.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible crime. Terrible.
Yeah.
Graves being discovered. Yeah.
Did you get cards on that?
On the cards on it. I didn't do cards on it because
do cards.
Do cards.
Okay. Huh? You don't have to if you don't want to. I just think you're really interesting. Your cards are like spot on.
I'm doing it. Okay.
You don't have to though. I didn't mean to coerce you to that.
No.
Okay, if you said no. Don't let me be a bully.
No, I'm fine. I'll do it. I was listening to you with rapt attention. Let's see what I get. Oh yeah. I feel like yeah, at the end of the day, it is just my first card is justice, and I feel like they're just trying.
Ooh.
I feel like uh, you know Putin, is not going to get very far. This is where he is right now, and
Oh, like what's gonna work?
and and this is the end game. He's
Ooh.
he's really this is how the whole of Russia's feeling right now already. Uh, and he keeps throwing oligarchs out the window for entertainment purposes only. So money's declining. I mean,
Oh,
in many ways. But I,
it's nine,
hmm,
nine so far. Nine, and their families
and
for some of.
it's not enough to just throw them out. The oligarch guy, they got to throw the whole. They could have do something to the whole family. I
Yeah,
don't. I mean,
it's insane. It's insanity. I don't understand it. I honestly don't understand it. Because don't you need the oligarchs? Like, aren't they important?
yeah,
Like, why
I
get
need
rid
to
of them?
run. An oligarch is someone who runs a huge corporation or some big business or some part of the oil business or some it could be the banking industry, it could be anything, but they're multi gazillionaires and they make the money move around. That's what they do. And so killing them off is like shooting your toe off, and you shoot off 9 toes, and what are you going to do? Think about
Do you
it.
think that Putin is so desperate that because he owns all those companies in some way, like he's controlling all of them. The puppets, the oligarchs work for him. Can he retrieve the like all the money? Like now, like he's got everything. Like each of those companies now is he can cash them out like somehow. I don't know.
There's a hidden question there about how Putin has money with the oligarchs, and they're holding it for him because he can't look super rich in front of the Russian people. So I don't know if there are secret bank accounts that all these oligarchs have for in I mean under their name, but for Putin. I don't know if he has access or how that all works. But
It's like in a true crime podcast. It's always about the life insurance money. So maybe it's like that's always the like no matter what else there is, that is always the deciding factor. When if was there a hefty life insurance policy, and then yeah, it was the husband. So maybe that's like similar to Putin. I don't know. It's very confusing to me. I can ask the guides, I guess. I all the guides say yes. Uh, and he also considers some threats. But this is not really rational. I think the people on his closest colleagues or closest what would the word be? His circle, his inner circle.
the inner circle is comrades.
Get out about this. And am I next? That's what they're wondering. Am I next?
Mm-hmm.
And Putin's just so paranoid, and he's so evil, and this is what the KGB, Putin does is uh, if you don't walk lockstep, if I think for an iota of a second, you're going to step out of line, and you're going to ally with, oh yeah, because they're saying that there is a plot against him. He's not making it up. I mean, of course there is. Like, why wouldn't there be? And he is trying to thwart that, and he thinks these oligarchs are all part of it, and that's what he's trying to warn other oligarchs and other um, of those ilk. Don't do this, or you and your family are going to end up like um, Sergei's family or whatever. But it's out of control. it's absolutely out of control. It's Putinism at its most irrational and I would dare I say cancerous.
Exactly.
So
All these oligarchs in some small way stepped out and spoke against Putin, and that's when they ended up out the window or whatever.
yeah,
And then there were the conglomerate of officials who sent the letter saying, "We want you to resign. Let's call for his resignation." And of course, they all lost their jobs, and I'm surprised they're not dead yet. But so Putin is so scared, just like you said. This is what I see, is that he's just so afraid and so enraged by anyone speaking against him that he immediately reacts by getting rid of them. And his inner circle is really scared to death, and they really don't want him in place. They don't want him in place. And so something's going to happen. They can't trust how his mind is working, and they don't feel safe. So this was my bottom of the deck.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So anyway, here we are at an hour and 11 minutes. It's been so enjoyable. I had a lot of fun. I love it.
Me too. This is awesome.
I had a lot of fun, but we should end it here so we don't get too long of a video. But thank you so much for coming. I loved it. I had so much fun with you, and we covered it.
Thank you so much. I did too. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. I hope you come again.
And, I will. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'd love to.
Thank you. Hey, thank you everyone for coming. And all the people who catch us on the replay, like and subscribe to Melissa Psychic. And
this is my video channel. I put one out every Sunday, and if there's I'm over 200 now. There's a lot, and past life ones too. Melissa Psychic. You guys take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.